following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Rob Deininger, and I'm here with Jack Degraw, and as always, we're talking Yankees baseball. How you doing, Jack?
Good. How are you today, Robert?
Not too bad. Last week when we talked, the Yankees were 4-6 in their last 10 games. At least this week, they're 6-4 in their last 10. They looked a little better. Took 3 out of 4 from Cleveland and split 4 with Baltimore.
Well, they got some good starting pitching, and they hit some big home runs, and that's been the formula for 10 years. So hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, and Herman, he got off to a slow start in his first 2 starts, but this last one, I think he pitched 7 shutout innings. He looked great.
Yeah, I mean, he's an arm. Hopefully you can rely on him. I think if he can, not wear down, he could be an asset in the starting rotation. But he still scares me because he's missed so much time. And same thing with Kluber. I mean, he looked great the other day. But it's scary. You don't know if these guys are going to be able to hold up.
Yeah, I mean, Herman, he's 2-2, and he's got 19 strikeouts in 20 innings. I was just looking at the stats. Cole's got 50 strikeouts in 31 innings, which is impressive. But yeah, Domingo Herman looked good, and Corey Kluber got his first win. But it's a long season, and yeah, you got to keep an eye on these guys. But they got good starting pitching in the last 2 series.
Well, I mean, I think it gets to a point. I mean, it's not panic time, but like we say every week, at least you want to get to 500 or a few games over before you can even think about making a move. Yeah,
and yesterday the Yankees lost in extra innings. I'm never going to get used to that extra inning rule, starting a guy off at second. I'll never get used to it. Tyler Wade led off the inning. They were trying to bunt Urshela to third, and he couldn't bunt. He wound up bunting foul with 2 strikes, and that's a strikeout. And he couldn't lay down a bunt, and you could kind of tell he just wasn't into it. You could tell he wasn't committed to it, and I think that was a big problem for him, striking out, bunting. But that extra inning rule really drives me crazy because that's a game the Yankees should have won.
Yeah, I mean, they left a lot of men on base as usual, and no, I'm with you, Robert. I mean, I think the traditionalists, we hate, the 10th inning and, the runner on second. It's just not baseball, but, the owners are out to just pocket all the money they can, and they don't care about the fans really, and it's just, it's becoming tough to watch it.
Yeah, they asked Boone yesterday about the extra inning rule, and he had to bite his tongue. He could tell he does not like the rule, and it's frustrating because, it's frustrating, especially for people who like watching baseball, be played. The traditionalists, just will never get used to it.
No, but it's all, it's all for the young fans because they don't have anything to compare it with,
Yeah.
They don't remember the game, how great it used to be. It's still a good game, but it's not like it used to be.
No, and I saw an article yesterday where they're talking about a home run derby for extra innings, which I would probably stop watching baseball if that happened.
Robert, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to bring it up, but I said, nah, this can't be real. So you said something. So you've seen the article too. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If they do that, I mean, I'll just turn the set off forever because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Ralph posted an article about it, and I didn't even click on the article to read it because I don't want to even see what they're proposing. But I think they're proposing it for a minor league, a particular league in the minors, to give it a try to see what how it works. And it's not something I want to see come to the major leagues.
No, I mean, I didn't read the article either because it just sounds so, over the top. I mean, what are we going to have next? One-pitch tournaments?
Yeah. Yeah. And, the 7-inning doubleheaders, I mean, I guess like a week ago, Madison Bumgarner pitched 7 innings of no-hit baseball, and the argument is, well, is that a no-hitter? Since the game's only 7 innings long, it technically is a no-hitter, but I don't see how you can call it a no-hitter. I think you'd have to put an asterisk next to his accomplishment. It's not a 9-inning game.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a game, but I mean, that's the way the rules are nowadays. It's just there's so many rules that I mean, it's going to mess with the statistics of baseball because, like you were saying, if the guy pitches a 7-inning no-hitter, well, he pitched a no-hit game, but the game wasn't 9 innings; it was only 7. So I mean, and having runners on second to start extra innings, it's just what's a win or a loss? I mean, you charge the pitcher with a loss with a guy on second to start the inning. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
And the thing too is, I was surprised Boone didn't bring Chapman out for the 10th. I mean, Chapman struck out the side in the 9th. His last pitch in the 9th inning was 102 miles an hour. I thought maybe he'd bring him in for the 10th, but he didn't. And, that was one of the things yesterday that I didn't like either was Boone not sticking with Chapman. But I can understand why he only wanted to pitch him 1 inning. But when you need to win a game, I usually like to go all out.
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I mean, he did throw 18 pitches in that 1 inning, but I just think maybe he didn't want to burn him out, but because when you get to the extra innings, it's a crapshoot now anyway. Yeah,
we got 3 games with Detroit coming up, and we got to beat up on the teams that we should, like Baltimore and Detroit, because after Detroit we got Houston, then Washington, and then Tampa Bay again.
Well, I mean, where are they playing? At Detroit, Robert, tonight? Or?
No, they start a 9-game homestand beginning with Detroit. They'll play 3 against Detroit. Then they're off Monday, and then they'll start 3 with Houston, and then Washington comes in for 3 games, and then they head back down to Tampa.
Okay. Well, usually they'll start playing better at home. That's always been my feeling and stuff. They play better at home, but then they go down to Tampa again, and that they always have problems down there. Yeah,
and the one thing that I've noticed is Stanton's starting to warm up. He had 3 hits yesterday, and he had a few hits the game before, including a home run, and you could tell he's starting to get locked in. Not comfortable him batting number 2, but when he gets hot, he can carry a team.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll get into a good stretch and stuff. Robert, I seen something this week, and the MLB, they were talking about, maybe the league is caught up with the Yankees offensively because they're getting less fastballs to hit than anybody else.
Yeah.
And any other team. So maybe the formula that the Rays are using, other teams are looking at and say, we're not going to give these power hitters fastballs. We're going to throw them change up and sliders and off-speed stuff. So, maybe the league is caught up with the Yankees. They're going to have to change their, philosophy a little bit.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Don Mattingly, several years ago, was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was talking about all the home runs that were being hit and how the hitters were changing their launch angle. And because pitchers, the thing is throw low in the zone, get a ground ball, and hitters started changing their launch angle and started hitting more home runs. And Mattingly said, in a few, you'll see pitchers will adjust. They'll start pounding you up in the zone, and then they'll start throwing you change-ups down and away or out of the zone. And he's right. I've noticed this year a lot of pitchers, a lot of teams are pounding hitters up in the zone with fastballs, and then they're throwing the sliders, change-ups and curves down in the zone and getting a lot of strikeouts. And he was right, and the pitchers have adjusted, and now we're seeing, less home runs and more strikeouts to begin the season.
Yeah, because I think you see a lot more high strikes now, and the hitters are, and as a pitcher you keep going higher and higher and higher, and then when you throw the ball in the dirt, it just messes up the swing angle, and these guys can't adjust anymore because they could adjust, but they don't want to adjust because they all want to try to hit home runs. Yeah,
and you're right. I mean, Aaron Hicks, I never really liked his bat that much, but, he's batting 139, and he just looks lost at the plate, along with Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner, too, is batting 182 and looks lost at the plate.
Yeah, Hicks, I'm disappointed in, and like we were talking in even before the season started, Robert, I don't think they should have resigned Gardy. And I think they should give Frazier the 500 at bats, and they should have. And instead of Gardner, you should have kept Tauchman, because Tauchman can play all three outfield. He hits the ball all over. He can bunt. He can steal a base. He's got some speed, so he gives you a dimension that a lot of the Yankees don't do offensively.
Yeah, and like we were talking off air, he got 3 hits the other night for the Giants. You said, right?
Yep. First game he come out, he made some nice catches. So, good luck to him. He's earned it. Yeah. When I saw that they traded him, I was like, what? Because he was their 5th outfielder, but at this point, I think he's a better option than Brett Gardner. And now, I don't even know who the 5th outfielder would be behind Gardner, unless they use someone like Tyler Wade. Yeah, and the guy the Yankees got, that Wandy Peralta, they say he's a decent pitcher, so maybe he can help them until they get Britton back. I think you might need these guys out of the bullpen, because you might start doing the thing, you have Chad Green pitch an inning, then you bring in Lazaga for a couple innings. They might have to be doing that, because you don't know if the starting pitcher is going to be able to hold up. Yeah, and I know Davy Garcia, he pitched well in the game he played. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, but he wasn't bad. He kept them in the game, and they sent him back down to the alternate site, but we'll see him again. And the guy that I was surprised to see get sent to the alternate site was Michael King, because when you get sent down there, you got to stay there for at least 10 games, and he's pitched 11 shutout innings to start the season, and I was surprised they sent him down. But off air, like you said, maybe it's to stretch him out for a start later on. Yeah, because I believe the minor league season starts May 4th. I think it starts on Tuesday. So you might see King and Garcia starting, for Scranton. Thank God, they're playing minor league baseball, and, we got a little bit more to talk about. Yeah, and Clint Frazier against Baltimore, he made 2 great diving catches, and you could tell he's locked in at the plate. He's taken it. He had a couple walks in one game, a few walks throughout the series, but he's making good contact. He had a home run and a double in the game the other day, and yesterday he got robbed of an extra base hit and came up inches short, or maybe a foot short, of hitting a 2-run home run. So he looks like he's starting to come around at the plate. Well, hopefully, he'll get his at-bats. Let him play. Let's see what he can do. And Aaron Judge, he's apparently, Boone made some saying that travel is taking a toll on Judge in a little way, but really he's just suffering from a lower body issue that, they haven't told the fans about, and Judge has missed the last 2 games. And we were talking off air. It's if he can't stay healthy this year, how can you really give him a big long-term contract? You really can't. No, and I don't know, if any team would give him a long-term contract, because if you can't stay on the field, no matter how talented you are, how many years are they going to give you? Right now, I don't know if he has any options. Granted, there's still 130 games to go, and hopefully he can stay healthy. But if he can't get out there for at least 125, 135 games this year, I mean, there's going to be question marks about his durability if there's not already.
Yeah, because he's 29 years old, and the contract he'll have coming up is his one shot to get that big contract, and I, like you said, I mean, I don't know what team out there is going to be willing to give him that long-term, huge contract. I don't think if he can't stay healthy, I don't think he's going to find a team willing to give him a big contract with a lot of years attached to it.
No, I mean, the Yankees might give him a 1-year deal and, just to prove himself. And then if he does well, then he'll have more options and, can make a lot more money.
Yeah, and it was interesting. It came out that the Yankees were talking to the Angels about a possible trade with Judge. And if they were reaching out to the Angels, I'm sure Cashman was reaching out to other teams. So if that's any indication, they might not be committed on Judge long term. So a 1-year, maybe even a 2-year deal would probably make more sense. Yeah,
I mean, and Judge is from the L.A. area, California, where the Angels are, and Anaheim. So there's things going on behind the scenes because Sanchez is going to be a free agent, and they got to make a decision on Torreyes and a few other guys, and they're locked in with Hicks and they're locked in with Stanton. So I mean, there's decisions that got to be made.
Yeah, and one of the decisions Boone, and I guess it's probably the whole organization, is that they're going to go with Higgy at catcher. Boone says it's a day-by-day thing, but right now Higashioka is basically going to be their starting catcher except for days he needs off, like a day game after a night game like yesterday. But right now it appears they're going to go with Higgy until Sanchez starts swinging a better bat. Well,
I mean, Higgy's got some power, and I mean the pitchers like pitching to him. He frames pitches well, and he does a better job than Sanchez behind the plate. And so right now, what options do the Yankees have? I mean, Sanchez is a free agent after the season, so I don't know if you want to trade him mid-season. And really, what are you going to get for him?
Yeah. I mean, he's batting under 200, and he hasn't had an extra base hit since the first series of the season. So he's been struggling, a lot lately. And Higgy, he's been productive, 4 home runs and 28 at bats. Yeah,
and another possibility. I mean, if Sanchez doesn't hit or he doesn't improve, I mean, the Yankees just might like just releasing.
Yeah.
Well, they call it addition by subtraction or something.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Higgy he's light years ahead of Sanchez behind the plate, and he'll probably be Garrett Cole's, personal catcher for at least 90% of the starts this year. And like I said, Kluber got his first win with Higgy catching him. He looked really good, and Herman looked lights out. So for now, it looks like Higgy is going to have a hold on the catcher's job until Sanchez shows he can at least be more productive at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Higashioka, he got sent down here to Tampa about 3 or 4 years ago. And he was getting up there in years, being 25, 26, and he was still in high A. So he really, just changed his philosophy offensively and started hitting home runs. And, he was always a good catcher. So, it was nice to see him the position he is now because he really worked hard for it.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good sign to see some of the hitters coming around like Gio Urshela. I might have to eat my words because I didn't think he'd have a kind of year like he did his first year at the Yankees. But he's been productive so far. He's batting .265 with 4 homers and 15 RBIs. He's getting on base, driving in runs, playing good defense, and he's been one of the positives for the Yankees in the lineup. And LeMahieu's starting to come around. Stanton's starting to come around. And I think Frazier's starting to come around. So they got some hitters that are starting to warm up, which is a good sign.
Yeah, maybe if we get some warmer weather, and I mean these guys have a track record. Hopefully they'll start playing up to their standards. Like Stanton will come around and LeMahieu, and the guy that I'm disappointed in more than anybody is Torreyes.
Yeah. I mean, he had a couple of hits the other day, but I mean, you expect more out of him this year. I mean, this is his third, fourth season with the Yankees. You expect a little more out of him, especially with all the potential and hype that came with him.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned last week, I mean, he has 3 homers, Robert, over the last 2 seasons, like 230 at bats.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 homers in like less than 20 RBIs, 18, 19 RBIs. So, I mean, that's almost 45% of the season, and so that's a big concern.
Yeah, and against Baltimore, he destroyed Baltimore last year, and he's had a couple of hits against Baltimore in the series, but other than that, he's batting .231. He has no home runs. He's only driven in 4 runs, and he's got 19 strikeouts. So he hopefully this year, this Baltimore series where he got a couple of hits gets him going. But he's someone to really keep an eye on going forward because we need him to hit.
Yeah, because I mean, if he don't hit or his fielding don't improve, we might you might see Wade at shortstop.
Yeah.
Or Sal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Wade is a terrific infielder, and I just wonder if playing short has gotten into Glaber's head and affecting him at the plate.
Well, another possibility in the minor leagues, they have a shortstop, Kyle Holder, the Yankees. He was a number 1 pick a few years ago, and he's an excellent defensive shortstop. He don't hit much, so I mean, there's even a possibility we might see Kyle Holder at some point this season.
Yeah, and is there any word on Luke Voigt when he might be returning?
No, I just heard, he's starting to swing a bat, and it could be another week or 10 days. And I mean, he might start playing some minor league games next week. So, I mean, check the box scores because, I think he'll be playing some games starting Tuesday or Wednesday.
I was in some chat groups the other day, Yankee chat groups, and the one player they seem to pick on for some reason is Stanton. I don't know why they pick on him, but they really don't like Stanton. But yet Stanton, he leads the team in home runs and RBIs. And, I think they thought we were getting Babe Ruth when we got him. I mean, he's a guy who's a streaky hitter. When he's hot, he's going to hit home runs, and when he's not hot, he's not going to hit them. He's a streaky hitter. But when he does hit, he can carry a team.
Yeah, I mean, if he can stay in the lineup, Robert, he'll have 30-plus homers and knock in over 100 runs. Yeah,
his first year, he had 38 home runs and 100 RBIs, and he played with a bad hamstring the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with him is just staying healthy. If he can stay in the lineup, he'll knock in runs.
Yeah, and apparently they put out a stat when him and Aaron Judge homer in the same game, they're 9-0. But they played in so few games together, But if they could both just stay healthy, those two guys hitting, they could put up some numbers if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's a big if,
Yeah. But right now we're 4.5 games out of first. Tied with Baltimore at an 11-14 record. Boston's 16-10. I don't think Boston's going to continue to play as well as they have, but Tampa's starting to play better baseball. They're at 500. Be nice to see Yankees get to 500. I mean, playing against Detroit, they got to take at least 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they have to start winning some series because this team is not as good as it was 2 or 3 years ago.
No.
And, there is concern. I mean, there's still a long way to go. They could turn it around, but this is not a team right now that looks like it's going to win 95, 100 games.
No, and Detroit is not a good team. They're 8-18, so the Yankees need to do their job and beat up on Detroit. And Houston, they're 13-12, and they're a tough team. So, and then they got. It was Detroit, then Washington, and Washington's always a tough team to play too. So they need to take these series coming up, just to, like Yogi says, they can get late early.
Yeah, I mean, they got a 9-game homestand. You hope they'll go like 6-3, at the very least 5-4.
Yeah. And did I hear right? Did Bryce Harper get hit in the face by a pitch?
Yeah, I mean, and that was scary. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and of course they did X-rays and stuff, and he seemed to, he's going to be all right and stuff. He just turned his head a little bit. And if he didn't, it could have hit him right in the eye or hit him in the, broke his nose. But he just turned a little bit, and I don't know. It's scary. It's amazing throughout baseball, more guys haven't gotten really seriously injured or killed. So.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the video of it, but I also heard Didi got hit right behind him. Didi got hit in the ribs, and the coach of the other team said he would have taken the pitcher out after he hit Harper, but because of the three batter rule, the pitcher has to face 3 batters, he couldn't take him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's another stupid rule.
Yeah. He wanted to take him out after he hit Harper, but because of the 3 batter rule, he had to keep him in, and the next batter was Didi, and he plunked Didi right in the ribs.
Jeez.
Yeah.
A side note, Robert. Lou Gehrig played his last game in 1939 today, so that's like an anniversary.
Oh, that's cool, because it wasn't the game before his last game, the day he got his last hit.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it was in Detroit where he the streak ended. And the interesting thing, Robert, Wally Pipp, who was at the game.
Really?
And Lou Gehrig replaced Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp was hurt, took a day off, and Gehrig come in, and Wally Pipp never got back in the lineup. So that's another interesting thing. They said Wally Pipp was in Detroit when Lou Gehrig, opted out of the lineup.
And it was yesterday. On 1939, Lou Gehrig singled off a Senators hurler, Ken Chase, for his 2,721st and last hit. That was the day before his last game. So, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I saw a painting by this guy, Craig Kreinler. He had a painting of a young... what was that hurler's name? Who would they call the train back in the early 1900s?
Walter Johnson.
Okay, yeah, he had a painting of him in 1907 with the minor league team Idaho, and the scouting report. What did the scouting report say? It said something. I gotta find it, but basically that he throws faster than you can see it. And he knows where he's throwing it. Otherwise, there'd be dead bodies spread all throughout Ohio. That was a scouting report on him early in 1907. That he knows where he's throwing it. Otherwise, there'd be dead bodies spread out all through Idaho.
Well, because they didn't wear batting helmets back then, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Took a lot of guts to stand in there with no batting helmet or nothing, like the guard, the protectors they have now.
Yeah. But, the Yankees, they're 6-4 in their last 10, and hopefully, like you said, they can, with this 9-game homestand, beat up on Detroit, maybe take 2 out of 3 from Houston and Washington. Even though they're a tough team, they're struggling this year, so hopefully they can get, a healthy record coming out of this 9-game homestand.
Yeah, I mean, there is some signs, the hitting's getting a little better and stuff, but, I'm concerned. I'm not really seeing what, I think, Yankee fans want to see. It's like this could be a 95-win team, or it could be like an 85-win team. So, it could you could flip a coin right now. I think they'll do well, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I think Tampa Bay, Tampa is going to be there at the end of the season. I don't think Boston's going to keep up what they're doing. So, I mean, the Yankees, they just got to keep pace, I think, with Tampa. And I think, they should be fine, but you don't know. I mean, this is, we were predicted to win 96 games this year, but I don't know with this offense. I mean, unless it starts getting better with the warm weather, it could be a grinder. It could be a grinder of a season.
Well, offensively, like we just mentioned, if teams know how to pitch to them now, and they're not getting the fastballs, and they're swinging for the fences, and guys are not using the whole field. I mean, it's all or nothing at all in the starting pitching is concerned, because you don't know if these guys are going to hold up. And defensively, I mean, especially in the infield, I mean. It's scary. I mean, you can't win if you're not good defensively. It's not the errors you make; it's the plays you don't. You don't turn a double play, or you don't get a ball in the hole. So, so you'll have to watch that.
Yeah, and we got Cole going tonight for us to start off against Detroit, and he'll be followed by Talion and then Kluber. And then Herman will start game one against Houston, followed by Montgomery and Cole again. So Cole will pitch twice in 6 days, it looks like.
Yeah, we'll have to watch Talion on Saturday, because I know he struggled, and he needs a good start. Yeah. He looks like he has good stuff. I'm not a big fan of his mechanics, but he could use a good start to get him going. Yeah, another guy's been hurt a lot. They took a chance on him, and hopefully he'll turn out.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up his stats. My computer's a little slow. But yeah, I'd like to see maybe if Higgy's catching him, maybe there'll be a different kind of a pitcher on the mound than we've seen. 'Cause I think he's pitched to Gary Sanchez in all starts so far. Yeah, Talion, he's 0-2 on the year with a 6.23 ERA. He's given up 20 hits in 17 innings, along with 12 runs.
Well, the Tigers are struggling, so that's a good team to go against. Maybe it can get him on the right track. Yeah.
But Kluber pitched good his last outing. Herman looked great his last outing. Cole, he's going to be dominant, but at least we got three pitchers who look pretty good. And Jordan Montgomery yesterday only gave up one run. He looks pretty good. So hopefully the pitching stays good, and we can get a good start out of Talion and ride the starting pitching for a while, at least as long as we can.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few more positive things than there were when we did the show last week. Yeah.
I mean, I do think we're going to see Davey Garcia and maybe Michael King spot start, because you're going to have to give some of these guys, a rest when you can, especially Kluber and Talion, because they haven't pitched that much. But their starting pitching has been keeping them in games. It's just the offense needs to come around and do their job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an all or nothing lineup. I mean, so that's the kind of team we have, and that's it. I mean, when they signed, Odar to play second, I mean, he's another power hitter, and he's not really strong defensively. So, that's the kind of team the Yankees are. It's either going to be all or nothing at all. Their bats are going to take them, where they're headed.
Yeah,
good or bad.
Next Friday when we talk, we'll be starting a series against Washington, and hopefully, last week they were 4-6. This week they're 6-4. Who knows? Maybe next week they'll be 7-3 in the next 10 games. But we need to start winning some series and catching up with the guys in front of us.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Cole and Max? What's his name? Max
Scherzer.
Scherzer, yeah. So that maybe that'll be a great matchup. Hopefully that'll happen.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I think he's pitching. Cole's actually scheduled to pitch the last game against Houston before we start Washington. So, he might not pitch. but it'd be nice to see Cole pitch against Houston, his former team.
Yeah, so that's something that we could look forward to.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll have more to talk about next week on a positive note with the hitters.
Yeah, it's gotten a little better, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jack, as always.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun, Robert. Hopefully things will start to get better.
Yeah. And to the fans out there, we'll see you next week.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.